Arena's launch and everything that has happened since then has been nothing short of a disaster, and I normally try not to be so superfluous, but this has been an awful experience. And I mean that in the sense that I haven't experienced Arena because I still don't have access to it. And the fact that apparently people on Twitter are bugging BSG for access and getting in, whilst people who have had EOD for years are still waiting, is kind of disgusting, disrespectful, and shameful to sit back and watch. And you want to know the worst part? Arena's fun. Like, genuine, good-ass fun. Sure, the gameplay loop is marred with some issues, grind, complete unbalance of loadouts, but running around in Arena and shooting other players is a very good time. But everything around the gameplay is such a problem. Access issues, balance, unnecessary grind like I said, but this was supposed to be a massive and relatively easy W for BSG. I can see why now that they waited so long to release it. It was never fully ready. Granted, we knew that going into it, but my god, was it worse than we thought. This whole thing has been relatively disappointing, if I may be real for just a moment. I was really excited to just jump in and test things, give some feedback, but alas, I'm not in yet. So for the time being, I guess we'll just go over what I've witnessed watching a lot of Arena and figure out what direction the ship should be steered in. The first and biggest problem was how the entire thing was quote-unquote rolled out. The waves BSG said that they were going to use are prioritizing the wrong people. If I recall correctly on one of the live streams, it was supposed to be based on how long your account has existed, and if you had EOD, that would bump you up the priority list, and initially that seemed to be the case, as people that I know personally whose accounts have existed for over 5 years got in day one. But after 4 full days, who knows how they are going about it. The morning I am writing this, another relatively large wave of people managed to get in, which is great, but that also seemed to overload the servers, so now no one can play, which, you know, classic Tarkov. And it's going to be so bad when wipe happens in the near future. I'm not surprised, like, at all, but for some reason I had some level of hope that maybe, just maybe, things would work out for Arena. We'd just get in, get to play, experience some bugs here and there and some unbalanced stuff, but the game would work. But in the day and age of 2023, we shouldn't forget how bad launches for games can be. I'm looking at you the day before. Either way, the fact many people who have had EOD since at least 2020 and still haven't been granted access is shameful at this point. I have no idea how access is being given, but it certainly seems like the wrong people are being prioritized. And I don't mean, you know, content creators much larger than myself. Hell, I wouldn't even call myself one at this point. That will always just be how it is, but people who decided Arena was interesting and bought into it within the last couple of weeks. It sucks for those of us who thought we might be given some assistance into getting into this anticipated new game mode, but alas, it is up to good old RNG to bless us with an email confirmation saying the client's ready to download Arena. I may sound like an entitled little shit here, and to be brutally honest, I kind of am. After thousands of hours and almost $150 on a version of a game I enjoy so much, you'd hope that all would be taken into consideration for those who get access to the shiny new mode. But this is just a friendly reminder that a company of any kind doesn't owe you anything. So hopefully we will see everyone playing Arena sooner rather than later. God, just saying soon and seeing that word on the launcher gives me an aneurysm. Regardless of my woes of getting in, once you do get in, how is the actual game? How is Arena? Again, as I said earlier, it's fun. The simple act of engaging in PvP with Tarkov's mechanics in a more controlled environment where death means literally nothing and is extremely engaging and compelling. It's awesome to be able to try and go for something risky, and if you die, it doesn't matter. Win or lose, you respawn at the start of the next round as if nothing happened. That alone is going to make so many people who like Tarkov but hate the idea of building a kit and then dying a minute into the raid more confident to take fights and do things that are outside of their comfort zone. It's tense, stressful, and when you can clutch up a round, it feels incredible, just like any other Arena shooter out there. But again, the devil is in the details with Arena mode. For one, how you select your loadouts and what is available to you is a bit of a doozy. Your rank in the Arena comes with a handful of curated presets for you to choose from. As your level goes up, your access to better kits goes up as well. Each preset comes at a price, which is reimbursed to you upon a victory. Alongside those, there are different classes that have a huge, almost skill tree-like setup, where by using certain kits, you unlock new ones down that tree that get better. Now the problem with this is that your rank might not be a perfect indicator as to how far down a specific tree you have worked through. You could still be at D or D plus rank, but because you've put in some time with only one preset tree, you are almost to the bottom and have access to some extremely powerful kits. And in ranked mode, which is the only thing available to us right now, there are no restrictions to what you can use. There is a very distinct power dynamic that is being abused right now, because there wasn't any real foresight into how ranked play could be affected by how much people have put into the game. A very simple solution for the time being would be to only allow presets that are available with your rank to be used in the ranked playlist, and everything else is only for the unranked mode. But since we don't have that, the unbalanced gameplay has already reared its ugly head. People with the stock SAG AK with no dust cover are going against people with Altons, and it hurts my soul that this was allowed to happen in the first place. On top of that, when the servers aren't causing wildfires across the internet, having to double confirm that you want to play Arena seems kind of redundant. If I queue into ranked or any game mode, this isn't League. We don't need to confirm again that yes, I would like to play the video game, you know? What happens is that there's always that one dude, and if you're a CSGO player, you know what I'm talking about. That one last person that doesn't confirm, and you get sent back into looking for a match 2, 3, 4 times in a row. It's annoying and it just sucks. And you know what sucks more? The grind. Leveling up your account rank as well as each tier of the preset tree feels painfully and artificially inflated for the sake of game extension. I don't mind if we need to put some time in just like normal Tarkov. And one area this could be improved by is just lowering the XP needed to get to the next preset, is to reward games with more XP when they end. Typically right now, you earn anywhere between 6,000 to 8,000 points on a win and around 3,000 to 4,000 on a loss, which doesn't sound too bad, especially when comparing to normal Tarkov leveling, but when your next preset that you really want is 150,000 XP away total, yeah, it's gonna take a little while. And again, it doesn't have to be halves or anything, but maybe like a 10 to 12% increase would be nice. Or having the number of enemies you kill have more weight regarding how much XP you earn. This is something I'm not too concerned with because this will probably be the easiest thing to adjust if they deem it necessary. It would also be nice if you could use any loadout in the tree that you're working towards instead of the one that's most recent. It sucks having to use one kit repeatedly to get something new, especially if the previous loadout in that same tree is much more enjoyable for you to use. I'll touch briefly on the maps because it was the one aspect of Arena that I was the least concerned with. They're solid, like BSG's history with map design, they're the strongest part of the game. The locations are varied and interesting, there's verticality with plenty of points of interest, and are small enough that you'll always find someone within 30 seconds unless you're in maybe a 1v1 situation. But again, I won't harp on this too long, the maps are super dope and I really like them. And of course, there are many small gripes with the game currently that some quality of life changes will fix, you know, menuing, load times, bugs, disconnect problems. There's a gambit of things that will hopefully get adjusted over time, but at the end of the day, Arena is interesting, engaging, and most importantly, fun when everything is working correctly. It's just a damn shame that this whole thing is being marred by atrocious release practices. I hate to be at a dead horse here, but being 4 days in and still not being able to play, with each passing day my actual desire to get in and play Arena just goes down. Even if the game wipes with Tarkov in the next couple of weeks, and we all start on the same playing field once more, it's sad that this had to happen the way it did. Yes, regardless of how they divided up the player base to get in, people were going to get shafted. But if you're saying it's based on account how long it's been around, just stick to it. Don't pussyfoot around and hand people the keys to Arena where there are tons of other accounts that meet your criteria set. All in all, Arena is exciting for those who are playing, while also being extremely frustrating at the same time. And for everyone else who can't get in, just sit tight and try to be patient. And hopefully by the end of next year, we'll all have our own seat at the Arena table. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Let me know down in the comment section below if you got into Arena and what your experience has been like, and be sure to subscribe for more videos about the complete and utter failure that sometimes is BSG and their ability to release things in any kind of coherent manner. I hope to see you in future ones.